This podcast contains strong language and discussions about relationships and sex. It may not be suitable for younger listeners. This is the Sex and Singapore City podcast, and I'm Nixalina Watson. Hello, welcome back everyone to another Monday. So it's a Sex and Singapore City podcast kind of Monday, and I am so happy to be back in the studio with my She Said, He Said co-host, Paul Foster.
How's it going, everyone? It's been a long time.
8 months, 9 months?
That sounds about right. I think we recorded our last sessions in January.
My
yes,
God.
yes. So, which is insane. But I guess the good thing is everyone really misses us, so that's why we're back.
Yes. They were like, where is your podcast gone? In fact, I did get a message actually about, 2 weeks ago and was like, and I feel like it was a sly dig, like, where's your episodes with Paul?
Yeah.
Like, thanks for continuing your podcast, but where's Paul gone?
I like this person already. I like it. I like it.
I actually weirdly just rearranged to see Paul. So I was like, wow, it was just spooky timing. But yeah, that's the kind of messages I'm getting. So unfortunately, he's back.
And I'm not going anywhere if we can help it. But shout out to Splice Studio as well, and Ken for this epic setup here. Obviously, you've been in, to record already, but it's my first time back, and I'm loving how we've got the social distancing going. We've got the acrylic screen, so this is like, there is really no contact here. We can still see each other from afar, which is really good, which is important. But no, really, really cool.
Yeah,
really
we'll
cool.
take a photo afterwards. We'll put it on our stories,
Yes.
so people can see.
Yeah.
No.
Super impressed.
Yeah, and it's professional and means we can still talk shit.
Yes.
Which is the most important thing.
So what's the first topic we're going to talk shit about today?
We are going to talk shit about double standards between men and women.
Wow. Okay, this is a tough one.
It is.
They're all tough. We engage in some serious conversations.
Yeah, I
but,
don't let you off lightly.
Yeah, but this is definitely going to open a can of worms for a lot of people, I think.
This is going balls deep.
My favorite way.
I feel like you're going to be basic. I reckon just for people who maybe perhaps don't understand, maybe just describe what double standards means.
Okay. Well, to me, my definition is, you thinking and living and doing things one way.
Yep.
But then when someone else does it that exact same way,
Yep.
you call them out on it, and you're not happy with the way they've done it just because it wasn't you. I think that's the easiest way I can kind of define it.
So something is okay for me to do or me to say, but if someone does the exact same thing, not okay with that.
Yeah.
That's pretty much double standards.
Yes, yeah. And, for me, I despise that. I think, it's just, being a hypocrite is just a big no-no.
Because I was going to say being hypocritical is same. Like,
yeah.
to have
exactly.
that, to put that barrier down and say like, yeah, you're not doing that. And then like, I don't know, 2 weeks later, a very soft example, like, don't eat my chocolate, right? Do not.
I don't know how soft that is, man. I know
fuck him up.
I know relationships that have been broken because of that.
I have to write names on chocolate bars. I have to buy our own chocolate bars. I'm like, you do not cross this line. But that's another topic. Yeah. So say I was like, right, dude, you do not touch my chocolate. And then he's like, fine, like we say we have separate foods. Yeah. And then he comes home and I've eaten all of the chips.
Yeah.
That are his chips.
Yes.
And he's like, that's a very easy example of double standards. Like, you don't eat my shit, but I'm going to eat your shit and it's okay.
Yeah. Unless he also made the rule to you that he said, don't eat my chips.
Right.
I guess that would be the caveat there. But if he didn't say it, then it's like, hey, sharing is caring. What's up? And you guys are still together, right? Just making sure.
If he keeps eating my fucking chocolate, we won't be. Fuck you.
Okay.
I've now just stolen Ken's M&Ms.
Yeah. Wow. Guys, she literally, you can hear the pack. She literally just lifted up, above the screen. Oh,
saw
no
him
wonder the
as-
chocolate analogy was, the example was there.
I've now just stolen Ken's chocolate, so it's just now going round and round in circles of chocolate stealers.
So listeners, thanks so much. This is probably going to be our last session here because Ken's never going to invite Nick Selena back because she stole his chocolates. Oh, I can be back though. I'm allowed back so far, I think. So we'll figure something out.
That's almost double standard. Yeah. So when it comes to doubles, right, I'm going to give a scenario of which I am well aware that I have a very high double standard, hypocritical nature, and it's not something I'm proud of.
Okay.
Right?
Well,
So,
first step is acknowledging that. So that's,
Hi,
I'll give you that.
I'm
I'll
Nick
give you that.
Selena, and I have some issues with my double standards lifestyle. So, say it comes to phone reading example. I'm like, I want a phone reading household where we both feel we can be honest with each other and just pick up each other's phones, and like there's no, oh my god, you're touching my phone, because I know there's people out there that are like, you never go through my phone. Some guys have this, very recent guy has this boundary, you don't go through my phone. Whereas I want a very open also, but then if he picks my phone up, I'm all like, what are you doing? Right? Whereas I'm saying it probably just to give myself leeway to be able to read his fucking phone. Right? That's serious double standards.
That is a serious one. Yeah. Definitely. I'm looking at you now.
I know.
Straight in your eyes, and I'm. Yes.
But I'd never take my phone off him or anything.
Sure.
But I'm not. Oh, it's fine. I'm always like, why? What are you doing? You know?
Yeah. So I guess it's that. So you wouldn't get angry and upset, and you wouldn't snatch your phone back, but you'd still be like, hey buddy, you shouldn't.
It just puts me on edge.
Yeah, you shouldn't really be looking through my phone.
Not that to be fair, he
not like
doesn't
you're hiding.
actually.
Oh yeah, and not like you're hiding anything.
No.
But it's just like there's still there is some privacy boundaries still.
But which, of course, and I always find reasons to break them, but then try and demand them back. I'm being generally honest here because
I love it.
I'm selling myself as a really shit girlfriend, but it transfers into like colleagues at work, or friendships. I'm like, I can have guy friends. Why don't you trust me? I can have guy friends. I can do. Not that he ever moans, but that's like, you should let me have friends with males and females. It doesn't matter about the gender.
Yeah.
If he has a fucking female friend that I think gets too close.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he okay with me now? Yeah. Okay. Good.
In fact, you're actually a very good example because the fucks he doesn't give, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if this was the other way round, I'd be like, I'm not cool with that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Though.
I would be like, nah.
I didn't pick that. I mean, I thought you were open enough that
There's just certain
and confident
people.
enough, and comfortable, open, confident that you just be like, yep, sure, whatever. But
Nah.
But if you do have a feeling that it's not sitting quite right, there has to be some sort of reason, and it might not be from him. Like you said, it could be from the girl.
The third party involved.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough though.
Yeah, but at least I'm honest about it because there are so many scenarios, and I'm like, oh my god, I always say if this was the other way around, you're like, yeah, you'd go fucking ape shit.
Fair enough. But I think that's a really, really good example because living through my life, I've experienced that a lot.
Right.
But not from me. Again, I do not care. You can have as many guy friends or girlfriends as you want. It's all good. But I've experienced it where I've had a lot of friends who are girls that would start dating a guy, and that guy would not want them to have a guy friend. I'm just like, so I would actually lose friendships that way. Or I guess another example would be, say, you start dating someone and they're like, oh, I don't want you to be friends. You can't be friends with any of your exes. Yet they are still in touch with some of their exes.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you can't do that. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
So you can, and then to be fair, also you get the ones that say no, because I hate all my exes and I don't want to be friends with them because of whatever, the past. So you can't. And that's more plausible, but I still don't agree with it because also I'm still friends with a lot of my exes. In fact, almost pretty much all, just because they are exes. There is nothing left.
I hate them all.
Yeah.
And I think everyone is blocked on every channel. And if you're not, it was a mistake.
Yeah.
And just know, if I find out, you should be blocked.
So if you're an ex of Nixonina, please message her now so she knows that she hasn't blocked you, so she can block you.
That's probably why my partner's so chill, because I'm like, oh, I hate him. I hate him.
Yeah.
Feels like I've got no worries.
Yeah. That asshole. Yeah, I'll tell you a story.
But like, when you just said, for example, the ex is saying like, you can't be friends with any of your exes, but actually I'm going to still keep in touch with some of my exes. How do you think these double standard mindsets come into play? And do you think there is any situation where it's okay?
Okay, great question again, man. You're good at this. Yeah. Okay, so this is my take again. As something as serious as that with the ex issue.
Yeah.
I firmly, unequivocally believe that if they say it that way, they have trust issues. They are the ones that have the issues.
Yeah.
But I also think it stems from a lot of other things. Like maybe they were cheated on by their exes in their ex relationships.
Yeah.
Or even they have cheated. So again, they don't have that trust there. So if they keep spilling that out and being like, no, you can't be. I cannot believe that you can have a platonic relationship with anyone of the opposite sex, whether it's an ex or whether it's
colleague or
an old friend that you've known for 25 years.
Fuck them bastards.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, close, are ya?
Yeah. Actually, we are.
Yeah. Well, if
we kind of grew up together. Yeah,
you can take that coffee and shove it up your ass.
Yes. So and that's when I think it's a personal issue that they have problems. Now, the chocolate ones, that is a double standard, yes, but it's on the much lower scale of things,
right.
And you could easily solve that and get past that in a way if shit did hit the fan.
Yeah.
So
there's a spectrum.
There always is a spectrum, but like, I don't know. I found that if I was ever with anyone that gave me those kind of double standards, I'd just be like, listen, man, you try to make it work,
right?
But after a while, it just doesn't. It really is a problem and issue. Yeah, it will never go away.
No,
and it actually gets worse because technically, the longer you're together, you're still going to meet people and you're still going to be doing stuff and.
Well, even if it's something like double standards, like you can't go clubbing.
Right.
Until like, I want you home by 1 a.m. But then that person, has the occasion where they go and get fucked off until 5 a.m. Right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't even have to involve like cheating on other people. Double standards can be any kind of,
Exactly.
Or like you must always text me good night, right?
Yeah.
But then they'll be like, oh, I forgot last.
Yeah.
Because I was out or I fell asleep or I was knackered, right? So it doesn't have to. A double standard can be across all types of spheres. But what I find is if one person is fervently always in that double standards mindset, the other person will get resentful because you just build up.
Guaranteed.
Because it will be like, right, so you come in, come in at that time, okay, fine. And then stupid stuff like the chocolate, that will add on,
And it's taking the piss. It literally is, like all jokes aside, just like it becomes so trivial. And like you said, so the one partner has to always walk on eggshells.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh shit, if I do this, it's wrong. And if she finds out or he finds out, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
So then that's when issues start happening. Okay, maybe you start doing things and you don't tell. Then it just keeps, it's just a big snowball, right? It gets bigger and bigger and bigger and you're doing things. And then that's when trust starts to become an issue and you're starting to hide things and you're doing things because you're like, it's just a little white lie. I'm just coming because I know it upsets that person, so I'm not going to do it. And it's like, that's just not healthy.
But how do you confront that then? So if someone's really noticing like, okay, this double standard shit, right? How do you have that discussion where it doesn't turn into a huge row? Because I feel like the person who lives the double standard life, ladies
and gentlemen, hands up, her hands. She's proud of it. It's good. She's proud of it.
We will defend it to the nth degree. Because it would be like, well, no, the reason I have for not liking that person, or the reason I have for this, and you justify said double standards.
Yeah.
So how do you, as a couple, get past that?
It's really hard. It's really hard. Man, I'm going to be honest here. Like, I think with double standards, it's almost impossible to change someone's mindset on that. Like you said, that person will always find that reason to justify it.
Yeah.
There's always something. And then the other person will be like, oh, obviously, if they don't see it as a double standard, it's not wrong. So it's always going to be a right versus wrong both ways.
Yeah,
They're
just a clash.
It will never ever meet in the middle, and
It's so frustrating arguing with someone with double standards as well, right? I've had it recently with a friendship, and to try and it makes no sense. So I'm like, right, so you're telling me, and I have to lay it down very clearly, this is what you're saying you're not okay with, but 2 weeks ago you did this to me, and rather than address it head on, it'll be like, oh, you just don't understand how I'm feeling. And it's a swerve around.
But it's different. It's like, no, but it's the same. You did exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I'm like, you're throwing logic at me. I'm giving you some logic back. And when I meet you head on, I'm like, right, and then I ask for examples, it'll be like, oh, you always do this. I'm like, give me an example.
Yeah.
All right, give me an example. Nothing.
Right.
I'm like, right, but okay, so apparently I said this 2 weeks ago. Do you remember saying this? It's the same.
Yes.
And it'll be almost, but because I don't react, because I'm not emotionally reactive.
It's not your double standard issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever, but now I have to be petty back, because I'm like, this is the only way I can try and get you to understand is, okay, you said A and I said B, but it is the same, but you're kicking off at A, but so I'm like, I don't know what the problem is. And when you try and argue, or at least justify someone who is so double standards, you feel like you're arguing with a fucking brick wall, because logic doesn't exist
at best. Yeah. And again, I admire you for trying to open up the conversation and actually discuss it with her. But if they can't even acknowledge it, if they can't even go, all right, fine. All she had to do, this is your friend, all she had to do was like, okay, fine, my bad. Fine.
Yeah.
I take back that in this situation because I did exactly what you just
now
did.
you've pointed it out.
So, fine.
Yeah, and I would have been like, cool. But no, it just escalated because I'm like, I'm not backing down on this one.
Yeah, because if you do, it will forever be a problem. It will happen again in some other instance. And are you guys still friends?
No.
There you go. And you know what? And again, I know you're laughing. I'm actually not. I'm not even taking it lightly as a joke, but that's the way it has to be.
Yeah, no, I feel like I got pushed into a corner.
It's really difficult to be a part of someone's life when you guys aren't aligned on. And I'm sure this wasn't even a big thing.
It was ridiculously small.
Exactly.
It was like, I even go, I can't believe this has kicked off because of this. Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, there you go.
But and I guess this is a good point to brought up. It's not just double standards between relationships. It's double standards in friendships, in the workplace.
Family.
Oh, family's the worst.
Family's the worst. Because,
my mum always says, do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Do as I say, not as I do means I can do what the fuck I want. Right? But don't you try and do it.
Yeah.
And if you ever question why I'm doing it and you're not doing it, I just come out with that.
Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, obviously. So,
disclosure, I'm not that bad a girlfriend. I'm just very honest with my own shit.
No, she's just a horrible friend.
Oh, fucking terrible.
Oh, man. No, but look, you're right. I think also once a person has double standards, that will seep into any relationship they're in. Like I said, whether it's with a family member, a colleague, a friend, or a partner. Because that's how they live. That's like their mantra and their compass, right?
Well,
and,
is it because they can't see past themselves, maybe?
To a certain extent, I'd say yes.
Is that because this is another idea I was thinking, is perhaps sometimes with people with double standards, perhaps only until they're in that situation themselves, maybe do they then go, oh, now I understand how it felt. Maybe they have to always go through it personally first.
You've been on the receiving end from someone else.
Yeah, so
But your friend was a perfect example where it happened. 2 weeks apart, you brought it. I mean, he still refused to acknowledge it and was like, no. So I think you could be right. I think they just...
It's a mindset
and they got the
thing.
blinders on.
Yeah.
And maybe it's being naive. Maybe it's just being arrogant. Maybe it's playing dumb. Or...
Could it be calculated on purpose, like a manipulative mindset?
Totally. But I have more respect for at least a person who calls it as they call it and admits it and just says, yeah, okay, this is how I am and this is it, because...
Well, I feel like we've all got a lot of fucking growing up to do, right?
Oh,
so
yeah, of course.
I sit down with myself and I'm like, okay, I kicked off about that. And bless him, he probably didn't deserve that. And if he had the same sensibility as I did, he would have kicked off at me 3 weeks ago.
Sure, but,
you know?
But he didn't.
Yeah. So, but that's also, I guess, part and parcel with the things like opposites attract. Because if there was like 2 of him, it'd be a nightmare. And if there was 2 of me, I'd be dead. Because we would have killed each other.
Yeah.
For sure. Or fat on chocolate. But, you know, so like, I think it doesn't, you know, if you have a double standards mindset, like I obviously given a few examples of where I'm like, fucking hell, you know, I clearly do on certain things. You can acknowledge that and it can be changed. It's not just like, this is who I am. Yeah. This is my beliefs. Yeah. Fuck off if you don't like it.
And that's, you know, I've always said it, right? It's all about communication. So at least if you can have a mature discussion and get it sorted and put it all out on the table and just like, this is it. You can grow together, or you can grow yourself at least. And that's huge. But you're right. I mean, most people, when it comes to that stage, for these kind of things, they're just like, no, I'm right and you're wrong. And it's like, fuck, okay. You're never going to solve it.
It's even like a work case. Like, so I get in a lot of arguments, I feel, because I don't deal with injustice very well. So like at work.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. But so like example, when I was at my last job, I would be sent on an event trip. And I'd be told I had to write this, I had to do this, I had to do this, I had to write this, I had to do this. So I come back with all of my content. I had to do great. Then my colleague goes on a trip 3 months later and makes someone else do all the work. You know, like, oh, I'll get the intern to write it.
Wow.
Right? Okay. That is double standards, you know, like, because I was worked to the bone as if punishment for going on a nice trip, right? And they go and then they just come back and like pass the buck.
But wasn't it also that you didn't have an intern?
No. No.
Okay. No, see, but also I think that's you love your job. And for you as a writer, if you're going to go to a work event or an event trip and you've experienced it, you're going to write it because you're a professional and you love what you do. Yeah. Whereas other person, like you said, is like, well, fuck this. I got a free trip, which is awesome. Yeah. I'll write all the notes down and take the pictures and give it to someone else. And they can write it because you know what? I don't need to. And there you go. Take the double standard, take the piss. I just said that earlier too. There's just like, I think they have less of a grounding to like be also maybe the best they could be in that sense. Like it's like I am already awesome. This is exactly how every human being should be. And if you can get away with doing certain things, go for it. Like, yeah. But that same colleague, I'm very sure if you did exactly that, he would have gone to the boss and be like, hey, boss. Yeah. Nixelina, she go and ask her intern to write that article. You know, she never wrote it. Uh-huh. You know, they'd be right there.
That accent, by the way.
Was it accurate of your ex-colleague? Okay.
You just switched into it. I love it.
Yeah, because that's like a very brown nose. Like his nose was so far up there, you know. He's had to wipe the shit off his nose because he's almost talking like this. Hey, boss, that one, she cheat you, like she go and ask the intern to write, you know, because the nose is so far up his ass, like you know.
So do you think then, is there any way to deal with double standards? Is it always going to end in some like explosive row? Or is there, especially at home, do you just sit down and go, listen, you know, if you get in at 3 a.m., it's only fair I should get in at 3 a.m. If you go through my phone, it's only fair that I should go through yours. Do you have to almost sit down and list out, I guess, these, is that possible?
You probably have to. I'd like to say that not every argument, discussion after shit hits the fan will be so explosive. I mean, definitely don't have that conversation if they've come back at 3 or 5 a.m. drunk and you in bed going, so you can come back pissed as a fucking bat this late and I can't, because that will definitely kick off. That you'll be in trouble. So maybe wait till the next day and bring it up. But I guess, I always say if you're gonna and this is, and people always feel if you're going to bring stuff up like that, they're going to be backed into a corner. So they're always going to get defensive. Yeah. So I always say that when you need to breach a subject that's obviously annoying you, or a problem has happened and you need to acknowledge it, always get your facts in order. So evidence. It's like you're going to trial and you're a lawyer. You need to have some sort of evidence and some sort of logical, way to be like, listen, but this has happened. Like, it literally has happened. So can we fix this? Can we resolve this? Are you going to let go of your double standard because, that would be the most ideal way. You have a discussion, they go, okay, fine, you're right. So either I stop it as well because you can't do it, or you're allowed to do it now because I have. Or I am doing it, so you're allowed to. Best compromise ever, right? But that would be the best. Yeah. That they give up that double standard. Because,
or at least even acknowledge it.
Oh yeah, okay, fine. Acknowledge first is the best.
Because I feel like a lot of double standard people are like, no, and then they're just like I said, swerve the convo or whatever. So acknowledgement, get in and go. Fair enough. Actually, you got a good point.
Yeah.
I think is step one.
Yeah.
And then to come to an agreement.
Some sort of agreement.
Yeah. Like me and my partner did this thing a few weeks back where we talked about our non-negotiables.
Okay.
It was a really good exercise. His idea, not mine. And I was like, I'm not fucking doing it. And then he's like, I'm making us. And I was like, So he gave me a list. And because of, you're addressing stuff with each other that you're not comfortable, you don't like, or, he's so like, I don't like it when you do this and whatever. And I'm like, don't touch my fucking chocolate. Number one, non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Right? So it's going to get a bit heated. But what happens is, say you did this with your double standards, you'd go away, you cool down, and then the next day you're more likely to actually
have a chat. I was being a bit of a dick, or
he's got a point.
I'll buy double the amount of chocolate next time so that
Or like, okay, so I once in the blue moon I might get pissed out my face, but I promise I will text. There was a friend of mine who always had an argument with a fella because he was always going out and she's like, please text me.
Yeah.
And then he would go out and obviously not because lads. But and I'm like, you know what? If once you get drunk, babe, and you get the flavour, well, you can't really blame it. I've gone on all sorts but this is another double standards actually while I was thinking of it. I had girlfriends come and stay in the UK. At the time my partner still lived in the UK, so still long distance. We went out and got so drunk, I don't remember coming home. I think
you got home.
They dragged me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good start.
You got home. Yeah.
And I didn't look at my phone or respond to him until 6 p.m. the next day.
Wow.
Not because I was out having the time of my life. I was throwing up.
Sure.
And do you ever have one of those hangovers? I get really badly affected. So the hangover where like you can't look at a screen, you're lying in like dark pain.
Feel like utter death.
Hell. Food's not staying down, water's not staying down. So bless him, he hadn't said anything, but he was, when I eventually checked in, he was like, I was getting really worried a bit there. And he was like, I was like, don't worry, I wasn't anywhere naughty. I mean, I literally
just on my bathroom floor.
Looked like the wrong end of a fucking baboon by this point. If that had been the other way around,
you would have been...
I would have been calling, texting, I would have probably said, had a good night, baby, or whatever, and left him to go out, because I'm cool with nights out. I mean, there's no way I can be that double standards. But by like 10 the next morning, I might be like, baby, you're right. If I didn't hear from him till 6 p.m, I probably would have had like back-to-back fucking anxiety attacks. Like, oh my God, you're with another woman. How dare you? I know you're with another woman, Yeah.
And that... Look, I think that's happened to the best of us. Look, I mean, I'll put my hand up and that's it. And you're right, though. I guess you can't... Still, this all comes back to trust. And story is like, okay, if you said, well, no, I just got really, really wasted.
Yeah.
But I got home. The girls got me home. I just been in bed all day or on the toilet, basically, and that's it. So, and, you know, if your partner can be like, okay, that's cool. That's totally fine. Just, you know, I hope you feel better and all that. I'll send some chocolate to you, and then that's it. That's it. But if you have a partner that doesn't have that trust, that's like double game over, like a double standard, because they're going to be pissed off already that you didn't get in touch with them.
Yep.
Then they're going to be even more pissed off because they would have thought that they don't trust you and something's happened. And I think that's very hard to come back from.
Yeah.
From if that happened. But it might not happen again in the relationship because maybe you learn, but I don't know. I think it should be a little bit more open than that. Like even with me and my girlfriend, my partner, when she goes out, she will rarely, she goes radio silent.
Really?
Yeah. That's her, but it's all good. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
But also then when I go out, she wouldn't expect me to always be like replying back to her.
Yeah.
They'll do a couple of check-ins here and there just to make sure, and then that's it. But I know that when she's out with the girls, I shouldn't expect to hear anything from her until she's in the cab on the way home or when she's walked through the door. And bless her, because she doesn't give me that shit. Like if I'm out,
exactly.
When I come back, she doesn't give me the shit of like, why don't you message me? Why don't you call me?
Because she knows like, that's
you're
what
out,
I do.
You're out with your friends.
Yeah.
Have a great night. As long as you come home
at 10:30. At 10:30.
As long as you come home at a respectable time, you know.
I mean, there is no going out anymore. Yeah. So that's all you got.
That's it.
Lads until 10:25 p.m. And then all the cabs are double the price.
They are. Wow.
I know.
Yes. That's a double standard.
And I go between Grab and Gojek and they're still both double the fucking price.
Yeah. Oh, I was glad to see. I'm happy to see some people are making a good living during this time.
Anyway, we better wrap this one up.
Yeah.
So to conclude, double standards ain't fun. It ain't easy, and it's going to be a very of a difficult conversation. I think.
I think so. And look, I've said it before, and I'll always say it. There's always someone for someone. So you gotta pick your battles.
Yep.
And you got to decide whether you want to be with someone that you really click with, or half of the time click with because of certain issues.
Yeah, because you might decide you're cool with some of it.
Exactly.
Like I can let it slide.
Yeah, I mean, again, the chocolate thing for you. I mean, it is a double standard, but it's very low on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Where you guys are still really happy together, and it works.
So you don't have to acknowledge a double standard in your relationship and then go, right, we're fucked, see you later.
Yes.
That's that's not what we're saying. But if it gets to the point where it's becoming resentful, it's building up, and this is, remember, friendships as well, like we said, or close up, it does require conversation.
Correct, at least, at the minimum.
Yeah, and it's not gender specific either. Like women can have double standards, as can men as well. It's just how we're formatted.
Yeah, how we're wired, unfortunately. But good advice there, Nixalina. Solid advice.
Thank you for coming. I just much prefer it when you're here to chat to, because otherwise it's just me moaning about men and chocolate. That's not quite. You always give me a half decent grounding response as well.
Good. That's what I'm here for.
Well, I can't wait for our next episode. Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Ciao. Thanks for listening to the Sex and Singapore City podcast. This episode was produced and hosted by me, Nixalina Watson, and recorded at the Splice Car Studio in Singapore. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and all major podcast listening apps. Do subscribe for a new episode every single week. Please do give us a 5-star review. It helps other people find our podcast. We're also on social media with Facebook and the Gram. Don't be shy, send me a message and come say hello. For more information and to read more articles, please do come over and say hey at sexandsingaporecity.com. That's sexandandsingaporecity.com.